The red shirts say Mr. Appeset is an illegitimate ruler and vow to protest until he holds fresh elections, calls the Prime Minister has repeatedly rejected. The protests forced the cancellation of a meeting of regional leaders on Saturday, embarrassing the Thai government. Well, we're joined now by Mr. Appeset's Deputy General, Panatan Watanayakorn, on the line from Bangkok. Mr. Panatan, thank you very much for joining us. Now, the red shirts have become quite a force, you must admit. On Saturday, they stormed the ASEAN summit, forcing the government to cancel, which must have been embarrassing. Yesterday, they attacked the Prime Minister's car, and now tens of thousands are clashing with police on the streets of your capital city. Is the government really in control?
The government is setting up a new center to control the situation. The Center for Resolution of the Emergency Situation is now implementing measures to control the situation at the moment.
There are reports that up to 70 people have been injured. Can you confirm this?
Just about that number to be accounted, but the report has to be confirmed at a later date today. But the Prime Minister is now sitting in the Situation Room, directing the center to implement emergency measures. The first objective is to clear up the traffic blockage around the cities. The second is, of course, to return the government offices and compounds back to the officers. And lastly, to reduce the threats to the Prime Minister and his cabinet members, as we saw in the last few days. And these are the three important tasks by the center to be implemented in the next few hours.
Mr. Panatan, there are reports that the riot police stood back while protesters attacked the Prime Minister's car yesterday. Does the government have the full support of the military? Because to the outside world, it certainly looks like there is a serious breakdown in the chain of command.
Well, I think the now center began to establish a much more unified and combined activities among different services, including the police. The center is led by the Supreme Commander of the Thai military, consisted of the members of the Army, Navy, and Air Force chiefs, together with the police and other civilian officers. They are now running the Situation Room and operating accordingly.
So the government has the full support of the police and military?
Certainly. This morning, the controlling of the intersection from the airport to the city was successful. The government is now regaining back those traffic intersections. It took only about 20 to 30 minutes to disperse the crowds, and several people have been arrested and detained.
Now, Mr. Appeset, Prime Minister Appeset has only been in power for 4 months. Now, these protests come as a major blow to his leadership and his authority, and these protests are not over yet. I mean, how can the government continue to lead?
The government insists that demonstration is allowed under the democratic principles and constitution, but now they have turned violence and attacked officers, including threatening the leaders during the ASEAN summit. Therefore, the emergency decree has been declared. We hope that in the next few hours and in the next 2 or 3 days even, the situation will be back to normalcy. The Thai people, the majority of the Thai people are supporting the government in implementing these measures, and they hope that the situation will be brought back under control quickly.
Well, let me ask you this. Are snap elections then a way to solve this crisis?
There are a few ways of solving the crisis. First, of course, law and order must be established under the democratic system. Second, political solution could also be established at a later date. Prime Minister has initiated political reform with the opposition parties. If it's agreed, then it will take about 6 months to 1 year before the new constitution can be drafted, and the new election might follow after that.
You are hoping to bring the situation under control, but if these protests continue, they are demanding that Prime Minister Appeset resigns. Will he do that? Will he resign if these protests continue?
Well, he insisted that under these circumstances where there are a lot of deep divisions in the society, dissolving the House or going to the polls or even resigning from the premiership won't solve any standing conflicts. The best thing is to, of course, put things back into the law and order and make sure the Parliament functions normally to begin to solve the problem through the parliamentary means. That's the best solution for Thailand.
Mr. Panatan, the ousted former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra is calling for a revolution. Are you concerned about his power and influence?
Well, we are fully aware of his role in causing the conflict. In fact, he has been convicted and he's now on the run. The Thai court needs him to be returned to the due process in Thailand. The majority of the Thai people today are now, although they still very much like what he did in the past, but they are now very much realizing that the current round conflicts may be caused by him and wanted him to stop that. That is according to the latest polls.
All right. Well, Mr. Panatan Watanayakorn, a government spokesman and also the Deputy General to Prime Minister Apisa Wetchatjiwa, thank you very much.